What's going on, all you scallywags? Yeah! That's right. No, just let it play. Let it play to go to the end. It's Reese on the radio, you haters. Right here live on WTIC News Talk 1080. There you go. I got to hear myself a little louder there, Joey. First, I have to start off by saying I apologize to Joey profusely. I have to say that it is 100% my fault. I lost everything. I lost his surge protector, which I thought belonged to DC. I thought they gave it to me. I can't. How much did that thing cost? $100? How much did that thing cost?
It's like $20.
20 bucks. Okay, fine. I'll buy you a $100 one that's industrial, and it'll have ports and a whole line. It's going to be all the works. I'm going to engrave your damn name on it once I'm done. I feel such like a heel. Now, you also said that there was a little bag that had what inside of it?
It was the charger for the Jackery.
The charger for that. I'm positive I never took that out, so I have that somewhere.
That's fine.
Because I have to have that. It's somewhere in there.
I'd assume so.
But I would have to because I didn't plug it into anything. So, yeah, it's got to be the charger. It's got to be a regular plug.
It's like a little power brick. Like, it looks like a laptop charger, kind of.
A laptop charger.
So it's just in that little black pouch.
Okay, I'm positive I have that.
I have faith in you.
I just have to figure out what, because that battery pack,
yeah,
I only took that on the second day. I didn't take it the first day.
No, that's why I gave you the charger in case you needed it for both days.
Exactly. So I have to make sure that I find out where it is. Also, I have PTSD, Joey. I don't know whether or not you know this. My trip to D.C. has given me PTSD. I walked into the studio, and it was hot as blazes in the studio.
Yes.
Matt likes the temperature up warm. Matt Soroyce, of course, our distinguished sports director and reporter here, my buddy. He likes it warm in here. So when I come in, my skinny self, who's traumatized by 113-degree temperature in D.C., walked in here and I said, oh, my goodness, what's going on? They're trying to bring me back to D.C. So we're turning it down now. So if I look a little like flush, yeah, that's exactly what it is. I'm just a little bit sweaty. I already have an energy inside of me that I exude heat because I'm always running around like I'm an Energizer bunny. So hopefully the temperature will come down. It feels like it's coming down now. But I'll be okay. But Joey,
I turned the AC on.
You did.
Said, 70.
Okay,
it takes
70.
it a while to go back down.
Yeah. It'll be fine by the middle of the show.
So pumping out 75 to when I got here. So
I want to say one, thank you, Joey. I appreciate you being here and helping me out as you always do. You saved my life this weekend. You knew to give me that stuff, so I just want to tell you and have you on the air and say, if not for you, the whole thing would have been lost.
It's all
we
good.
would have been a mess.
This isn't my first rodeo.
No, exactly. He just this guy's going to go down there and it's going to be all screwed up.
Yeah, like someone's not going to come through.
It will be the Friday show will be the best of Reese on the radio.
Yes, it almost wasn't. It even wasn't our fault.
Exactly.
The National Guard was like, you got to leave, bro.
Yeah. Oh man, it was a comedy of errors that was going on.
But like I said, when stuff goes wrong, that's when good stories are made.
That's true. I mean, I have a journalism story that, I'll admit is not like Baghdad or Mogadishu, but what the hell? It's still a war story.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. So again, thank you, Joey. I want to begin today's opening monologue by saying something that I never thought you would hear, ladies and gentlemen. And that is, believe it or not, the Democrats actually believe that home invasions are wrong. I kid you not. The Democrats have admitted, finally, they have a home invasion they are against. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Graham Plattner. Of course I am. Think about this, folks. Think about every bit of this. Everyone under the sun, every person you know in Democrat politics today is standing up and saying, yeah, that guy's got to go. What was the straw that broke the camel's back, you say? He broke into a girlfriend's apartment and sexually assaulted her. Don't you find that interesting? Did you not see this? that all the things that happened, can we go through a few? I've written them down. Let's go through a few. These are prior controversies related to Graham Plattner that the Democrats refuse to denounce. Victim-blaming comments on sexual assault. In now deleted Reddit post from years earlier, in and around 2013, Plattner wrote that sexual assault victims should take some responsibility for themselves. To avoid attacks, told people to act like an adult for F's sake. Suggested avoiding alcohol so they don't end up in compromising situations, and downplayed challenges that service members face reporting assaults. He later apologized and said he no longer holds those views. But those were from 2013, not 1913. How about inflammatory or derogatory social media comments? Things that usually get you canceled. In old Reddit posts, included criticism of police, questions about black people not tipping, use the slur, retarded. Yeah, and descriptions of Maine voters as racist and stupid. These resurfaced during the campaign. While some criticism occurred, it did not derail his nomination or prompt widespread Democrat condemnation strong enough to sideline him. Don't forget Nazi Tattoo Gate. While everyone was being called a Nazi for having a belief that they didn't like, this guy actually had a Nazi tattoo that everyone said, it doesn't really matter. It's not a big deal. I care very little about that. A Jewish senator, to boot. He's got a Nazi tattoo. No, that's okay. Yeah! Not at all. How about this one? Let me see. Volatile, upsetting behavior or unsettling behavior in past relationships. Multiple women who dated him described claiming, but also demeaning or intimidating and disturbing conduct. One account in the New York Times alleged that an argument that became physical. Plattner had acknowledged some relationships were toxic and volatile. These patterns were reported before the latest allegation, but did not trigger broad Democrat rejection. That's right. And then, does anybody remember the sexting just after getting married? Hey, sweetheart, what are you doing? I'm doing nothing. What are you doing? Well, I'm on my honeymoon. Why don't you send me a sexy photo? Democrats said, nah, nothing to see here. Nothing at all. But what's the straw that broke the camel's back? A woman comes forward and says that he came to her home, forced himself inside the home. This is called a home invasion, folks. That's what it's called. Someone being broken into their home and violated. Does anybody remember Martha Raddatz? A couple of years ago, we're in Tren de Aragua, we're in Colorado, breaking into people's homes, holding them at gunpoint, and how the Democrat Party said, it was just a couple of homes. That's what Martha Raddatz said. It wasn't as many as you claim, as if to suggest one is not enough to be outraged about. It was just a few. Now, all of a sudden, Graham Plattner is considered a pariah. After years of Republicans talking about assaults that are happening in sanctuary communities where illegals, gang members, are breaking into people's homes and assaulting the family and the women inside them, they refuse to give those people up to ICE. People barricading streets to keep ICE from getting those ne'er-do-wells out of our communities. And with all of that, with everything I just described, black people don't tip, women need to not get so bleeping drunk, hold some accountability. Talking about men in uniform saying that he wished that they had died. They were too stupid to live. We're talking about the same party that was outraged behind an alleged Donald Trump claim that the people who died on D-Day were losers. Remember all that you got up in arms about? But the guy in Maine, Graham Plattner, no big deal. He's not the president. He's just running for the Senate to unseat the president, or at least to run opposition to him. We can allow that. Cases involving illegal immigrants is real and revealing. There are repeated documented instances across multiple states of illegal immigrants committing home invasions, sexual assaults, and rape against American women and girls in sanctuary jurisdictions or under catch and release policies. Some perpetrators had prior encounters with law enforcement or deportation orders yet remained. High-profile cases have involved brutal attacks and recidivism among certain criminal non-citizens is a documented concern in ICE and local reporting. Yet the institutional Democrats and aligned media responses often differs in tone and focus. Individual crimes are frequently labeled as isolated. Emphasis shifts to root causes like poverty or U.S. policy abroad. Warnings are issued against demonizing immigrants or engaging in xenophobia. And the policy framework of statutory rules, or sanctuary rules, sanctuary rules, reduced interior enforcement, lax border measures, receive defense rather than any urgent response. And what should happen when Graham Plattner breaks into a former girlfriend's home and assaults her? That's the straw. Everything else, nothing. Now all of a sudden he's got to leave. How insane is that, folks? It turns out the Democrats do care about home invasions. The other part on this is that makes me laugh is that they cared that the woman was a Democrat. The last woman he assaulted and locked into a room as she cried and fell asleep because she was aligned with Republicans, people didn't care. Oh, she's a Republican. She probably deserved it.
But in order to win the Senate, you got to win Maine. What do you make of Graham Plattner?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, this has been a big week for Graham Plattner. Listen.
It's been a big week for Graham. It's all a joke. Everybody in the audience is like, yeah. It's nothing to see here. It's all a joke. Chris Murphy making slights. It's been a big week for him. Yeah, he's all over the news.
And this is a guy who has served this country, who has gone through some really tough things in his life, has made some big mistakes, has been open about those mistakes, and it's going to be a decision for the voters of Maine.
I'm endorsing Graham Plattner for Senate in Maine. And here's the reason why. Graham Plattner is the real deal.
Earlier this month, you called Maine Senate candidate Graham Plattner impressive.
I've also listened to him talk about, the difficult time that he went through in his life. And frankly, it's not unfamiliar to a lot of soldiers who came back from service and had a very difficult time readjusting. So he sounds like a human being to me, a human being who made mistakes.
A human being who made mistakes until now. Think about that, folks. There you are, Christoph Murphy. He was a human being who made mistakes until now. No longer a human being, huh? Now it's a bridge too far. Interesting. I find it funny. And Bob J., I'm not talking about the hypocrisy there, silly. This has nothing to do with the hypocrisy. No. Selective behavior of Democrats. That's what you're talking about. Selective. You have selective memories. You have selective standards. You stand on nothing. You have no principles. They are as wide as the Mississippi. You can go anywhere, everywhere, because, again, you are not principled people. Scumbags are scumbags. I know a scumbag when I hear him. No offense, Bob J. That answer, that response is the response of a scumbag. Because you can wiggle your way out of anything. How about this? Instead of pointing the finger over at the other person like a 5-year-old trying to justify stealing a cookie after your sister did it, just go, this is wrong, and keep it moving. But you can't do that because you have no scruples. Scumbags do that. You see, when J.D. McCormack was here, and he sat up here and talked about how the Bible said you have to exterminate gays, even privately in their own home. Did you sit up here and say, well, the Democrats do worse? Did you hear me say that? No. Flat out denounced it, didn't I? I didn't play the whole, but the hypocrisy of, no, because I'm not a scumbag. Don't be a scumbag. We'll be back. It's Reese on Radio.
When a contractor...
Okay, I guess we're back. I didn't realize we weren't going to have a joiner. We're back. It's Reese on the Radio right here live on WTIC News Talk 1080. I understand that there is a construction issue in New York with some beams that are buckling and people are on high alert in the city. First, let me say this. Anybody who's in New York who is near that skyscraper, please be careful. Get the hell out of Dodge. Evacuate. Get out of any building that is nearby. And if you know somebody down there, just make sure that they are safe. Reach out to them because no one knows what's going to happen. And it looks like it was just faulty, horrible construction. There are a lot of things that we can say about this, but until we know, we will save it until we do. There's a part of me that just, you know what I always feel about New York, so I don't have to say it. You guys already know how I feel. Bob J., you haven't been around in a while. He's in the chat room, and he's really upset about the hypocrisy, as he's calling it. The word is selective. Selective. When it comes to Donald Trump versus Graham Plattner. Let's play this out. To pretend that we ignored sexual assault allegations against Donald Trump is a lie. But then again, back to my point about being a scumbag. See, only a scumbag would lie about that because everybody knows about those allegations, right? They were all vetted. They were all brought to bear. The news media covered it, and people were made to denounce it. Many people stood up and said, I don't believe it, and here's why. Many people came across and even tried to interview said individuals. Was there ever a day in court that was? Nope, none at all. Some people tried to sue. There were plenty of lawsuits. As you know, the E. Jean Carroll suit. That fell apart. That's now looking like she may be charged with lying. So it wasn't like it wasn't vetted. It's the Graham Plattner thing that many people pretend. And prominent people, prominent individuals in the Democrat Party, Chris Murphy, Elizabeth Warren, right? Ro Khanna, Bernie Sanders. These are all people who are very prominent, quite possibly contenders for the 2028 election, screaming and hollering, yeah, he's the guy. He has been vetted. He was asked multiple times whether or not there was anything else. He said no, not at all. More and more things came out. More and more people denounced it. And then said we're still supporting him. Why? Simple and plain. We got to win. So you can scream and holler about Donald Trump. Dude, we're like 10 years beyond the Donald Trump thing. If you still want to litigate that, true, fine, let's do it. But we're talking about Graham Plattner right now. And the more that you go into the guy, he looks scummy, doesn't he? Let's just really look at the facts. He looks scummy. And while you're trying to deflect about Donald Trump, which has been so litigated, and you know it, it is to avoid the Graham Plattner thing. It's to put some armor all on a turd. Because you think that we shouldn't look at Graham Plattner. Why? Because Trump. That should be everything. Imagine if we could do that in every facet of our life. I rear-end you on the highway. And I could just go, yeah, but I was listening to Trump on the news. He really got me upset, and I had to ram right into your car. The other guy just goes, oh, you heard Trump on the radio? Oh, just, you know what, man? My bad. I should not have stopped here. Trump makes everything difficult, doesn't he? Look, don't get mad. Don't be upset because I'm just laughing at you because I think it's stupid. I mean, that's my role here. You can talk about me having my bully pulpit, but it's not a bully pulpit, dude. It's really to take all of that nonsense and just go, huh. I spit on it. Because I'm using my brain. Everyone treats this nonsense like a child. You're stomping around just going, why are we talking about Graham Plattner? Didn't Trump do stuff? That's your answer to everything? Why didn't you go to work today? Did Trump say something bad or naughty on television? That's what you sound like to me. Every issue, when you have to bring up Trump, that's what you sound like to me. I'm an adult, man. I'm an adult. And I recognize when people whine like children, especially grown men. You didn't upset about Trump. It's like, seriously, tampons over there. Insert over there. Go over there, ladies' room, right there. Don't be a man talking to me about this nonsense. Seriously, if a woman called up here and had these kinds of arguments, I would at least consider it. I would entertain it. Because a woman is an emotional being, and I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. Women, do not send me letters. I'm saying that because I understand you. You are the fairer sex, and I understand if things upset you, I want to care about you. I'm married. Some things upset. A Hallmark commercial upsets my wife. I have to get the tissues and I have to hug her. I understand. But when you see a grown man who's supposed to have a whole lot of testosterone sit up here talking about some other guy. Trump. It's like, just say you support Plattner and shut up. That's all. Just shut up. I support him. I don't care what he did. What did he do? Kick a baby? I care. It was probably a Republican baby. I don't know. What did he do? Kick a puppy? I don't care. We got to defeat Trump. He could kick all the puppies. Line the puppies up. We've got to get him elected. I'm sorry. I don't care. What I'm talking about, and don't make this about me. This is the other thing that you don't seem to get. Don't make this about me. The people who are relevant here are those who are willing to destroy the fabric of our society. What we consider good things and bad things. Evil versus good. These people chose evil. There was nothing this guy couldn't do. They just said, look, he seems very manly. He's an oyster farmer. He owns his own business. He's got a beard and a mustache. He looks rugged. He's got a tattoo and he's got military service and he likes us. And then they start finding things out about him. And it's the level of which they are willing to sink to incredible lows. Yesterday, he insulted grandmothers. I don't care what kind of grandmother was it. A black grandmother with a new hip. Was she light skin or dark skin black? You guys didn't, there was nothing. The man could do anything. Yesterday, Graham Plattner was caught on film slapping orphans from Venezuela. You guys would never say a word. And I'm mocking you for it. And that's the only reason why you're upset. That's the only reason why you're crying. It's because you got caught flat-footed with this guy. When everyone tried to warn you, dump this dude. Dump this loser. You wouldn't. You was laser focused on the importance of getting rid of Trump. You'd compromise your own principles, which, again, this is the part that you can't reckon with. You can't understand. And this is why you're exposed. Don't think I don't know. I see it. It's right in my face. The reason why people like Bob J are so upset is because they have egg on their face behind this doofus. He looks so promising. We're going to win. We're going to be able to take out this guy that we hate. And Graham Plattner's going to do it. And the more and more stuff that comes out about him, you look ridiculous having supported him. And instead of just saying, damn, I backed the wrong horse, or damn, he wasn't who we thought he was, and just take the L and walk away, you decide to get on your back like a cockroach and whine about it and throw a temper tantrum because people pointed it out. We tried to give you an out. Bail on this dude. You said no. This guy isn't good for you. Screw you. You were laser focused. So don't get mad at me. I don't care. I knew Graham Plattner was washed up long before this nonsense. You guys are trying to save your behind. If you're lucky, you'll get somebody to replace him, but it's over. The Susan Collins thing is over. Just go to Texas and try to sell Telefrico to the Texans. Please go down there and tell everybody in Texas that their new senator is a beta male who hates Christianity and is afraid of meat products and cries about transgender kids. That guy's all Texas all the time. Just get down there and save that election. Okay? That's what you need to do. But the Graham Plattner thing is over. We'll talk more about it. In fact, Steve Robinson is going to call in from the Maine wire. We'll talk to him about that at 4 o'clock. Stand by for it. Also at 3 o'clock, we're going to talk to Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal. He's going to be on the phone with us. We'll talk about DQuat. We'll talk about Sayo, the businessman from West Hartford, who's finally home after he's got picked up by ICE. We'll talk to him about that, and we'll talk about some other politics that are going on. He's already made a statement about Graham Plattner. In fact, here it is. Where's that piece with Lamont and what's his name? I found this interesting. This was crazy.
Where it says step aside. I do.
I'd be happy to comment on that too. These sexual assault allegations are serious, credible, and disqualifying. They are unacceptable. And as the Maine Democratic Party has said, he should withdraw immediately. The sooner, the better.
No, I think that's exactly right.
Yeah, that was a weird scene with Ned Lamont. He couldn't come up with an answer when asked why Graham Plattner should drop out. He stopped and looked down and went, like he had to think about it, like he didn't remember what Graham Plattner was accused of. It was very weird. But Richard Blumenthal stepped in and saved the day with that answer. I won't ask him about that. That's a separate issue. We'll get into that. So, again, Steve Robinson at 4 o'clock, and we got Richard Blumenthal, Senator Richard Blumenthal. In about 10, 15 minutes, we'll have him on the show to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. We may get somewhere with the DQuat thing. I'm hoping that the senator will see it my way or see it our way with DQuat. We even have some alternatives for him to use that have no bromide. That's the dangerous ingredient in DQuat. So I have some alternatives for him, and I want to get in front because we could get this done with. It's a story I can move on from because it's a little more than a year old. So if we can do that, if he'll help me out, we'll be in a great place. All right, so we got that and much, much more. So stand by. We'll return after these messages on Reese on the Radio. Hey, we're back. Reese on the Radio right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. We do have to as well get into this left insurgence, if you will, of the Democrat Party and where this argument is and where Democrats are falling into a trap. And I wish people understood how ridiculous they are in all of this. And it goes right back to the Graham Plattner thing. So while you're thinking, and this is exactly this, when I tell you this is the playbook or the response from Democrats, this is exactly what it is. And you're, how do I put it? Okay. This is touchy. So my ex-wife, Mary, and I, who are good friends today, so I'm not telling this story to be, snipey at her. But when we were going through our downside that was leading to our divorce, we did not see each other as trying to be beneficial to one another. Like, if I'd said something like, look, Mary, I know things aren't going well with us and you're angry at me and I'm angry at you, but you know what? I really do want you to be happy. She always took that as I was being snarky. I wasn't being genuine with that. So she always had her guard up, and she would say something along the lines was, what are you trying to say? What do you mean? You don't think I'm happy? You don't think I can be happy? It was like, no, that's not what I'm saying. And then it would turn into a fight. And no matter what I tried, it just went south. That's the relationship between Republicans and Democrats, the left and the right. And primarily from the left, you can say to them right to their face, and I do all the time, look, I got nothing against you. I think your ideologies are weird. I think the things that you allow yourself to succumb to or to believe in, those things are detrimental to who you are. I know that you don't believe them, but you know what? I don't want you to have to suffer. Like when I think about people being prosperous, I'm thinking about you too. When I think about the nation being prosperous, I'm not thinking about just for conservatives. I mean for everyone. I want you to be prosperous. And again, remember my motivation. If you're prosperous, if the government gets out of your way and you get to live your full potential, that in essence, if all boats rise, yours too, then maybe you'll start to recognize or start to let down your guard and understand where I'm coming from, that I'm in your best interest. But no. I have to be, there's got to be a trick under up my sleeve, right? I got to have an ace in the hole or something, whatever that phrase is. There's something that I am really trying to do to harm you. So when somebody says, I think you should maybe not back this guy, Graham Plattner, he seems like a scumbag, the first thing is like, you just don't want us to beat Trump. Well, no, I don't want you to beat Trump, but I don't want you to put all of your eggs behind this basket. He's bad for you. Well, Trump is worse. Okay, all right. I'm just telling you that this guy is really not a good guy. He's not really, I don't want you to support him. If you ended up walking around holding a sign and you're going to learn horrible things about him and you're going to be embarrassed. You're only going to feel worse about yourself. It doesn't matter. You support Trump. You just don't like good people who are trying to fight. All right, never mind. So when we talk about this thing with the socialist, the Marxist, and the communist, you have that same response. You keep treating it like, oh, you don't want us to beat Trump. That's why you're saying these things. You're not being honest. Okay, all right. People are trying to stop you from ending the world as you know it, the country that you know. You're at the risk of ruining all of that, destroying all of it. You got to get your head out of your butt. But because you think that we're doing this to harm you or to embarrass you, you just keep on trugging along. In a lot of ways, you guys, you're like teenagers, right? I mean, that's what it is. You're a bunch of teenagers. When we tell our daughters, don't date him, he's a bum. And all of a sudden she goes, I'm going to marry him, Dad. Why? Because he's a bum? Or because your dad doesn't want you to marry him? It's usually the latter. But that's what it's like dealing with you people. So nothing we can say is honest. Nothing we can say is for your in your best interest. So you do it anyway. And then you double down. You start donating money. You know? You start buying paraphernalia. You just don't get it. And I'm trying to get you folks to get it. That's all I'm trying to do is get you to get it. I have no animosity towards you. No ill will. Do I want you to see it my way? Of course I do. But I'm not trying to make you. I'm trying to make the argument for you to see where I'm coming from. And if you don't, cool. But you guys, you back the bad one on this one. You got to know it. You got to know it. And keep injecting Trump in it It's just to soften the blow. That's all that is. But Trump, which is an admission of, yeah, we suck. Yeah, we ruined it. Yeah, we should have listened. I'm okay with that. You know, Roseanne and I, we raised teenagers. We know exactly when they finally admit. We've got a teenage girl who said if she didn't listen to us and ended up in trouble, she would never call us because she would hate to admit that she was wrong and we were right. She wouldn't even call us for help. And that broke my heart. It's my stepdaughter. I looked, I said, really? She goes, no. She goes, I couldn't. She goes, but if you stand your ground against your parents and your parents told you something and you don't listen to them and then it fails, it's really hard to come back and say, I screwed up. She goes, because then I'll be afraid to make another decision on my own. I said, no. I said, you don't understand. I would encourage you. We got to take a break. Top of the hour coming up. Looks like we got him, right? All right, Richard Blumenthal, when we return after the top of the hour news with Dave Mager filling in for John Silva. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio.
On Instagram, and then lose an hour because you start scrolling and you go down a social media rabbit hole, and then there's the video of that dog with the skirt on.
We're back. It's Reese on the Radio. And, of course, as promised on the phone line, who has become quite a regular here on Reese on the Radio, Senator Richard Blumenthal. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty well, Reese. Thanks so much for having me. I'm in the middle of a tour, which I began early this morning all around the state, viewing the damage that was done by these storms, winds, rain. I'm here in Plainville right now at a mobile home park, seeing the devastation that was caused. Absolutely astonishing. But I've been to Harwinton, Torrington, Salisbury, Bristol.
Yeah, I'm getting some messages. I'm getting some messages from listeners who are saying that they were very grateful that you folks showed up to assess the damage and stuff. In fact, Mailman Mike said we thank the senator for coming down to Harwinton today, and I'm pronouncing it poorly, Harwinton to assess the damage that's down there. This, it's so weird how all of these areas that had all of this high pressure, all of this like triple digit weather systems where it was extreme heat, immediately had this turnaround, this 180 of thunderstorms, because I'm assuming, and I looked this up to be certain, it's because of the excess heat, you get these radical thunderstorms that immediately respond to that heat. All that moisture and all that heat pushes everything up, and that's the way it responds. And this 70-mile-per-hour winds in areas like Farmington and of course, as you said, in Torrington, it just blew things down. We had a tornado touchdown in another part of Connecticut. It's like complete reverse of what we experienced with all the heat.
I don't know the scientific explanation, but it is kind of like a mini tornado that went in a line, probably responding to those kind of air conditions that you mentioned. Yeah. And they hit certain homes and certain areas, and then others right next to them were completely spared. So it is like a tornado effect.
Yeah, I saw some of the videos people were posting in Farmington, and there were, you hear the term golf ball size hail. There were literally guys holding them in their hands, and they were the size of golf balls, if not bigger, big ice pieces that rained down on the community. And again, that's what it all is. It's just excessive heat pushing the clouds far up into the atmosphere where it's very cold, and that's how you get that ice and that rain and that thunderstorm coming down. I had to look it up because I said, is this because of the extreme heat? And sure enough, it was. Anyway, but we thank you for being out there, Senator. Let's get to a couple of things. Speaking of science, I want to get into this real quick because I have been dogged on this DQuad application in the Connecticut River and in other waterways in Connecticut. I don't know if you have
been dogged.
Yeah. Sure. Well, this is important to me because I know that you care. You're on in the Environmental Commission, aren't you?
I'm not on the Environmental Commission.
What's the commission that you're a part of?
Well, I've been on
I am on committees in the United States Senate,
Yes.
the Armed Services Committee, the Judiciary Committee, the Homeland Security Committee. I'm the ranking member on the Veterans Committee. I'm not on the Environmental Committee.
Why did it
but I
say
have
that?
a strong interest in it.
Okay, well, I know that there was, your office originally, when we got the funding to remove the invasive plant hydrilla, which is really clogging the waterways, and it is a serious problem. It started roughly around 2019, and of course it has progressed because this plant life grows exponentially every year, if not every 6 months. And they wanted to get rid of it fast as possible, and the Northeast started using DeQuat. And we started looking into it because people were mentioning it to us, and they were saying that the bromide that is in DeQuat is, as many people described it, sort of like Agent Orange. And I've done this research, very, very extensive research. It was banned in China, even though they do produce it. It was banned in the UK, even though they distribute it. It's not allowed in those two countries. Yet it is being used here. I know that it is also banned in Brazil because the landscapers were using it out there, and they had about 500 to 600 deaths due to the usage there. But it's being used here, and I know a lot of companies have been using it because, again, it works to destroy hydrilla. But there have been more and more concerns over the last couple of years about what it's done to aquatic life, be it turtles, and now this new report about what it has done to bald eagles and coots and things of that nature. How can we convince anyone to try something different without putting DeQuat? I know there are other ones, but how can we convince them to use something different than DeQuat?
Well, first of all, I thank you for being dogged. I think it's important for people to care about the environment and the effects of possible chemicals used, even though the cause is a good one. Hydrilla is literally the most feared and pervasive aquatic invasive plant. It can grow several inches in just a day, and the effect is to clog our waterways. In fact, hydrilla forms a mat over the surface of the water, and it deprives other wildlife, like fish and aquatic life, of oxygen. Literally, it suffocates them because it keeps the sunlight out, and the oxygen is ended. And of course, it affects drinking water, public drinking water supplies, recreational industries, because it destroys fish and other kinds of wildlife. And it really is a pernicious plague because it's growing and spreading to other waterways. It was limited to the Connecticut River. It's spread all along the Connecticut River. Now there are 10 other waterways. For example, Lake Leonona, which is part of the Danbury Lakes, Candlewood Lake complex. So what do we need to persuade people to use something other than DeQuat? I think the scientists need to get together. I'm not a scientist. I don't know what the, specific scientific effects are of DeQuat or DeQuat. I know that it's used to treat hydrilla in the Connecticut River. The Army Corps of Engineers says it's safe and effective, but I've seen the blog post that you cited to me that says the bromide supposedly that is in this substance combines with a bacteria on the hydrilla to create a neurotoxin.
Yes.
I don't know how that can happen, but I think it needs to be investigated.
Yeah, I don't think, and this is new research on it. That's the only reason why I brought it to your attention. I didn't know about it until I got wind of it. A listener who has been following this story since I brought it up a year ago, everyone contacts me and says, hey, we need to get on this. We need to find another way. Now, we tried, because I want to get to some other stuff, but I do want to say this. If there's any way that you can, Senator, and it would be important, if you could please ask Lee Zeldin, because I know he was talking about this. He sent us a letter. He sent the letter out. He put a press release that said he was going to investigate DeQuat and get back to us. We have not heard from him yet, but he did address this briefly last year. We just want to get some feedback on whether or not they thought about it, because we have some alternatives, even chemical ones, that do not have the bromide, and that is a chemical called Procellacor, which does not, it's cost effective, and it does not have bromide. So it does not affect wildlife in any way, especially the eagles or coots or any other flying, flying birds. And the reason for that is because, as you know, the spread of hydrilla happens because birds pick it up, fly it to another region, and then drop it in the waterways, and then hydrilla just grows. It's so easily grown that all you have to do is have the wind blow from one town to the next, and hydrilla will grow.
Well, and also hydrilla can be carried by boats.
Yes.
If they're moved from one water resource to another. For example, if somebody is in the Connecticut River and they take their boat to a lake somewhere,
right,
it can be spread that way. And you're absolutely right. It grows just exponentially. And the other thing is it clogs motors, propellers, makes navigation difficult. So it's a serious threat to fishing, to swimming, to all kinds of activities. And if there are other equally effective ways to deal with it other than dequat, I'm certainly open to it. But I will write to Lee Zeldin, as your listeners know. He's the head of the EPA, the Environmental Protection Administration at the federal level, and ask him to respond to your letter.
Please, we really do appreciate that. Now, second off, now we know, you know what, the last time I saw you was at the press conference in West Hartford with John Larson. I apologize that I can't pronounce the gentleman's last name, but they refer to him as Sayo. He is the business owner in West Hartford who was detained by ICE. You folks got him released. He is now home with his family. If I can ask you, because I think Mark from West Hartford asked you whether or not that you folks had contacted Mark Wayne Mullen. I know that you served with him on the Senate. Did you guys call him at any time to see if he could navigate getting Sayo back home? And what was that process, if at all?
I didn't need to call my former colleague, Mark Wayne Mullins, because we were successful.
Okay.
Working at a lower level. I don't call the head of the agency unless absolutely necessary. He has a lot on his mind.
Of course.
I have a good relationship with Mark Wayne Mullen, even though we disagree. We voted differently in a lot of ways. But fortunately, the Department of Homeland Security and ICE responded to our pleas. But I think, this agency needs new leadership. And Secretary Mullins has chosen a new leader. I'm going to be evaluating his candidacy because his nomination comes through the Homeland Security Committee.
Correct. What's that gentleman's name or woman's name?
So I think what happened here is ICE again overreached because this individual is a business owner. He's been in the country for almost 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
He owns a restaurant, very well known, highly regarded, Portobello in West Hartford. I visited it on Saturday to welcome him home. He has 3 sons who are in school. One of them works with him. And, he has played by the rules, paid his taxes for 30 years. He has an application for permanent legal residence, which unfortunately, and I'm just going to be very blunt, he may have been ill-advised by lawyers in the past about how he handled it. But he's no flight risk. He's no danger to anyone. As I mentioned, you were there, I think.
Yes, I was there.
When I spoke about him. So anyway, long story short, ICE came to its senses. That's the best way to put it, I think. And so I didn't need to call Mark Wayne.
Well, okay. Well, I appreciate that you're saying that ICE came to their senses. Did they explain? Maybe that isn't necessary, but I'm probably going to talk to Sayo within the next couple of days. We're working to actually interview him. But, one of the questions that I asked that became a part of the news cycle was when I was asking Representative John Larson, what is it that local leaders are doing to protect people like Seo? I want to believe that Seo is a good guy. He opens up a business. He employs people. He's been around for 30 years. He's obviously an active member in his community, considering all the people who jumped out to protect him, if not say great things about him. That's all well and good. Don't have an issue with that. But I spoke to some others who were there to support him, and they all said the same thing to me. They said, Reese, you asked the right question. There is no one in their communities, local leaders or state leaders, who are working to help these folks get legal status. Now, I know you're a busy man. You're a state senator. You're in Washington. You're dealing with the entire state. But don't you believe that that is a great question or a great problem to solve? That if indeed we have people who are undocumented, as you folks like to call them, in your state, then instead of just fighting ICE, we should be fighting to get those people legal status, no?
Reese, I told you to your face. I thought it was a good question.
You did.
When you asked it.
You did.
When you were at the press conference that we did. And I'm gonna give you the same answer that I did then, which is, number one, we go to bat for people literally every day. I try to break through the regulatory rigmarole, all the red tape and the bureaucracy. And as I said to you, the Department of Homeland Security simply is short-staffed. It is shortchanged on resources. If they devoted some of those resources to the adjudication process and to the bureaucratic processing of applications for asylum, for legal residence, they would be a lot better off than putting people out on the streets with masks and guns and dragging people from cars. You've seen some of the violent tactics.
I've seen some of the footage. But let me cut you off real quick. By the way, you're on the phone with Senator Richard Blumenthal talking about DQuad and talking about ICE investigations here in the state. But one of the things that I've noticed about this, Senator, is we give a lot of money to NGOs here in the state who are supposed to, their mission statement is to help undocumented people, their statement, not mine, undocumented people navigate through legal status. We give millions of dollars to them, state money even, and those folks are actively keeping these folks in hiding. What do I mean by that? We talked to an organization that has a relationship with the New Haven Police Department. I have them on tape, Senator, saying that when ICE is coming by and they get alerted, somebody from New Haven Police contacts the NGOs so they can get these people off the street. Now, if they are spending this money to hide people and not get them documented, that's something we need to investigate because they're not using state money to get these people legal.
Well, Reese, just so your listeners know, an NGO is an acronym for non-government organization.
I'm aware.
That's a private nonprofit organization. I don't know of any nonprofit organization that is keeping people in hiding. I will tell you, IRIS, for example, helps to resettle people who are here legally. I don't know about other non-governmental organizations that are funded by the state. Obviously, a representative, a senator in Congress, which is a federal body. But let's come right to the point. A lot of people are undocumented. They have children born in this country. They have married people here. They've been here, like Seo, for 30 years. They've lived and played by the rules. And they're not in hiding. I mean, this man owns a restaurant.
Right.
People know him well, and you should interview him because he's a remarkable human being. Came here from Montenegro, and his wife is still there, as a matter of fact. So I think this immigration system is broken. That's
without a doubt
why your question is a good one, because the system is broken. And I've tried to propose reforms to speed the process. It may not even need more money. We may just need to change the laws so that, for example, we have more secure borders and people are not coming into the country and having their cases adjudicated here when they've been here for years and years. They deserve much more prompt and fair justice here. People who live here now and are citizens, as well as people who want to come here. So this system is broken, and we actually came close to reforming it about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more, with a bipartisan bill that passed the United States Senate. It was bipartisan, overwhelming approval, and then the Speaker of the House at that time, John Boehner, would not even give it a vote. History would be completely different if he had.
Yeah,
and I'm hoping to put together that kind of bipartisan coalition and fix a broken system.
Well, here's what I'm going to do, because I got to let you go. We're about to go to the bottom of the hour, but Richard Blumenthal, Senator, I am going to write a bill. I'm just going to write it. I'm going to forward it to Katie. I'm just going to send it to her. I want you to look at it. And I think that you will like my bill for immigration reform. I think every person on either side would like it. And this bill is just for people who are in the country right now. And I'm going to pass it. I'm going to bring it across your desk. And I'm going to say, with my blessing, introduce it to the Senate. I'm promising you they will like it.
Wonderful. I will welcome it.
Senator Richard Blumenthal.
You're probably a better lawyer than Blumenthal, and I'll say, even though I'm a United States senator, I'm a recovering lawyer,
I know. Senator, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you again for calling in. And next time we'll get you in the studio. We still can't get you into the studio. I know you're busy, but we're going to get you here one day.
I'd love to come.
No problem.
Face to face.
You got it. Senator Richard Blumenthal, everybody. Thank you, sir. All right, we'll be back. More news, more views when we return. Here's bottom of the hour news with Dave Maker filling in for John Silver in the WTIC newsroom.
I'm John.
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app, and replay all the biggest moments from our last hour. Just search Reese on the radio, and it will all be right there.
We're back. Reese on the radio live, WTIC, NewsTalk 1080. Thank you, Senator, for being a part of the program. And I'm going to hold you to contacting Lee Zeldin on DQuad. I need that put on hold, and somebody looking into some alternatives. I'm going to hold you to that. But then again, I got your cell phone number. You know, I will call you. Let me say, again, I want to say this real quick. And I've been trying to reiterate this for a long time. Many of you are not going to be familiar with my tactics about getting things done. I'm a result-oriented person. And this medium has become something that I'm not very familiar with. But I love it. And a lot of that is driven by other people's narrative about what we do here, like what my role is here. And I get it, because that's what people have become comfortable with, and they've considered that the status quo. I've never followed the mold. I do things the way that I do them, and people get ticked off because they don't like change. I get it. Fine. But it's just me. I want to thank you all for being patient with me. Senator Blumenthal draws a lot of ire from a lot of people all the time, about, what happened 20 years ago. And my relationship with him immediately began, right, he was always nice to me, was always nice to him, and I said, you know what? I'm going to start a relationship with him see if I can get stuff done. Outside of the politics stuff. Outside of the whole, you're a Republican, I'm a Republican, you're a progressive, and all that nonsense. Find the even ground, get to that work, make sure it benefits everybody, and then work from there. And then we can get to the tougher stuff. So Senator Blumenthal and I are developing a relationship and developing a trust where the two of I could be, in a bipartisan way, have a conversation to get the things that are important. You guys didn't believe in it before, but you're starting to see it today. I thank you for that. Thank you for being patient. I plan on being here a long time, and I'm going to get a lot of stuff done. But I only get that by actually being able to invite people here. Now, you don't know this, but this is true. There are Democrats who work in politics right here in Connecticut who listen to this show often. This show, in a lot of ways, at the risk of sounding a little braggy, has been a phenomenon to them. Because I don't do it like everybody else. Because I show up. What also bothers them, a lot of people, and let me make this clear, establishment Republicans who do not like me. Yeah. And it's for one reason. I came out of nowhere. And I did two things that make people uncomfortable. The first thing was, I didn't give a damn about them. I told them to their face I didn't give a damn about them. If you're an elected official, I don't care. You're a servant. They hate that. And I let them know that they were servants. They hate that more. They are elected representatives who serve you. I did not approach them like they were kings or hierarchy and beg for them to come on the show. Please grace me with your presence. I didn't care, and I still don't. When I approach them, I want results. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I want them to work for you. And when I approach them, I'm not scared and I'm not nervous and I'm not, thank you, Your Grace. I don't care. The other thing that they don't like is that I serve you and I do your bidding. And you respect this show and you were looking for this show to go there and be the hammer to that nail. And I have a closer relationship with you than they do. And that means I am a barrier. That no matter what they say, no matter what they do, it goes nowhere because of my relationship with you. Because I am doing the thing that they can't do, or they've refused to, serve you. I came in here saying that I am going to be your voice box. I am going to be your megaphone. And I'm going to gain your respect and I'm going to ask for it. I'm going to ask for your vote 5 days a week, 4 hours a day. I am going to do the work behind the scenes. I am going to work diligently. I'm going to show up. I am going to drive hours and I am going to ask you for nothing other than your loyal viewership or listenership. That's it. And the only way I get that is if I do your bidding. You see, I'm showing them how to be a servant to you. They hate that. They hate that you trust me more than you trust them. But I'm still going to keep doing it. Now, with that being said, I always have to figure out where I'm going to go next. So I bring on people like Senator Blumenthal. Next week, we bring on Luke Bronin. They asked to come on this program. I didn't ask them. They want to be here. I've been here a year asking for John Larson to come on the program. His people refused. We'll get back to you. Send us an email. I'll holla. We'll do lunch. Bronin's coming. What do you think is going to happen next? Maybe, what do you think?
No, I can't hear back from Larson either.
You can't get him, right?
Yeah, Brian can't get him either.
Yeah, no one wants to. You know why?
Weeks.
Can I tell you why? Because he's a yeller. because he can't control himself. He's going to turn into
Yep.
and they can't contain him. You saw him at his press conference with me, right?
I mean, yeah.
Lost his mind.
I mean, not to plug the other show on your show, Josh Elliott's coming on tomorrow morning with Brian.
That's fine. John Elliot is coming to me, and you can always promote Brian.
Saying,
he's coming on.
Everyone but Larson's
Yeah. But Josh Elliot, he promised me he's coming in 5 weeks. He's going to seal the deal. He already told me. He told me right to my face. He goes, listen, I got a relationship with Brian. I'm going to go on there all day, every day. Why? Because look, Brian has probably more like middle of the road listeners than I do. I've got some red meat conservatives, but I got some liberals too. But they have a relationship a long time. Elliot knows when he gets on my show, I'm a little more contentious.
Yeah.
So it's not beneficial to him, and he had the guts to say it.
We got to give him credit for that.
I totally give him credit. He's like, listen, your show does me no good. What am I going to talk to a bunch of Republicans who don't like me? I said, dude, I respect you. Every time I see him, I give him a big hug. I said, man, thank you for that. Thank you for being honest.
Yeah.
He's an honest politician. Crazy on policy, but he's an honest guy. But you're right. He doesn't want to come on. He should. Larson should. Bronin's going to be here. And sorry, if Bronin comes on here, he's probably going to clean your clock. Just saying. Just saying. But he should come on, but he's not going to. That being said, what I'm trying to do is, as I was bringing up earlier, why Democrats listen to the show, don't like the show, say, these people are coming on the program because they have realized if you don't come on the program, I'm just going to come see you at your press conference. And I am going to ask a question. And I'm going to ask a question that you want answered. The things that are said and the things that people have been allowed to say at news conferences or at galas or whatever the case may be, that can't stand anymore. You can't just stand there and say the most outlandish stuff anymore. You got to be questioned about that. The whole Lamont thing, talking about people of color being afraid to go to the polling places, that couldn't stand. In what world is that allowed to stand? In a world where no one asks tough questions. So I got to ask them. And so because those people don't want to get viral online, because it never serves them, and they think everything online is real, because they don't want to be the next viral candidate on Reese on the radio, they have to come by. And my deal is, thank you. Finally, you can come and speak to the people who wish to ask you some questions or give some answers to some people who you normally wouldn't speak to. That's all. We'll take a break. We'll come back. I'll take some phone calls when we return. Stand by. It's Reese on the radio.
And beyond, it's Reese on the radio. Damn, he's good. Only on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Clearly had too many darn windows open over here. Mandrake says, I get that you guys have really been done in by Democrats and liberals in this state. But that's okay. You know what? It's all right. It's going to be fine. Mandrake, I appreciate your point of view. Yeah, again, I'm going to get results in spite of all of the anger and divisiveness. I'm just trying. Like I said, I got to work for you. I'm going to get it done. I won't take it personal, I promise. Frank from Woodbridge, what's going on, sir?
The New Haven Police Department tipping off illegal? No.
Nah, yeah, it was crazy. We got this guy from the NGO. We're talking to him on the phone late night. I got him on speaker, and he says to me that they had a protest outside the New Haven Police Department after there was a sweep at the New Haven Optimo car wash. And so I'm going, that's weird. Why would you hold a protest at the New Haven Police Department because ICE picked up some illegals? Well, I called the guy, and he turned around and said, yeah, because they usually tip us off when ICE is in town, and they didn't tell us this time. And I went, I'm sorry, could you say that again?
They've been doing this for 60 years. I can remember them doing this. But it wasn't this group of people they were tipping off. You want to know who they were? They were the Irish. The number one group in this country illegally back then when they were Irish.
Yeah, people forget that.
That's right. They were tipping off their homeboys. That's what the FBI was looking for them. Then they were taking us down because they found out we were buying gold and doing other things. Then they approached my father and asked them to hire their relatives Because you had to have a green card and be sponsored. Oh, what are we going to tell her? We had to hire them. We had no choice. But
Frank, I got to take a break. I got a hard break coming up, buddy. But good hearing from you again. And work something out with the phone, buddy. You sound all muffled.
All right, but just buy gold on the dips.
Yes, sir. Yes, I know. Oh, buy gold. Gee, he can make his own commercial. Let's get our first check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher is here. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. How are we doing, sir?
Well, Reese, right now we do have some incidents out here we want to tell you about.
WTIC.
News. News. All right, today on Music News. Wow, that thing's hot. Today in Music News, apparently a guy by the name of Sinister Gates, the lead guitarist for Avenged Sevenfold, turns 45 years old. Vonda Shepard, the singer and songwriter who worked on the Ally McBeal show, turned 63. I feel like I know this woman. Anyway, Mark White, the bassist for the Spin Doctors. They did that song, Little Miss Can't Be Wrong. I saw them in concert once. I lost a bet. David Hodo, the construction worker of the Village People. He turned 79 today. And none other than Ringo Starr. Ringo Starr, legendary drummer of the Beatles, turns 86 today. On this day in music, in 1954, DJ from Memphis, Dewey Phillips, became the first person to play Elvis Presley on the air. The song, That's All Right, one of my favorites, which sparked the career of Elvis Presley. In 1968, the Yardbirds disbanded after a show in England, therefore allowing Jimmy Page to begin assembling what would become Led Zeppelin. And in 1971, yes, one of my favorite bands, ABBA, the members Bjorn Ulvaeus and Agnetha Fältskog were married in a ceremony that drew thousands of fans. And a police horse reportedly stepped on her foot at that wedding. Let's get a check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's back. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Mark, how often do you get requests to play ABBA at weddings?
Dancing Queen is always a big favorite at
Still
weddings.
the best song ever made.
Still a great song, no question about it.
Fantastic.
No
I
question
love
about
the
it.
drumming on that song. It is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, they sold a few records back in the days.
So
no question
ABBA
about
is
that.
ABBA's favorite. You don't get like I don't know, Fernando. You don't get no.
Oh yeah. Oh God, I wish I.
Mamma Mia. You don't get that with Mamma Mia's. I know it was a big one.
You do get some of that from the movie. You do get requests for that
for
they
the
like
movie
those
version.
Versions. Yeah, the movie version people do.
Dude,
like.
are you serious? People like the
serious.
movie version more than the ABBA version?
Some people. That's what drives me crazy because I'm going. I've got every ABBA song known to man, and they'll want the other version.
They want the album version.
Yeah, then
what's
I
that?
gotta
Amanda Seyfried and what's her face? Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep.
They
Yeah,
want that
exactly.
version.
Yeah, and then I'll have to go.
Now I have to listen to it.
Then I'll have to go to iTunes and grab it, or if you can't find it there,
I have to compare the two because there's some remakes of songs that are known to be better than the original.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, I don't know if this is better, but I think Club Nouveau's Lean on Me and Bill Withers, I'm not saying it's better, but it's a great remake. There are some great remakes out there. No question about it.
All right, we're back. Oh, I did have a story. I was like, what's the story I'm supposed to do today? Josh Elliot. Elliot's got a brand new ad. Have you seen it yet? Elliot, I tell everybody all the time, great guy. He's absolutely charismatic, fun to talk to. He makes me laugh. He's kind of a sharpshooter. But I don't know. Why is everybody talking about welfare? Is it me? Because that's what I hear. I hear welfare. I don't hear anything about, like, I hear the word affordability. All these Democrats are talking about, but I only hear welfare. How someone else is going to pay for you to live fine. I was thinking about this today with my wife. And at the risk of saying something controversial, and I don't say this because it's a bad thing. I am this person to Roseanne, and I love being this person to Roseanne. But you got to think about this. Roseanne is living a socialist lifestyle. She is. Can I explain? Let me explain. So every facet of her life is supported by me. Now, she gets a retirement income from her military service. That's absolutely fine. But if she didn't, I would take care of my wife. I would. She would be at home, but I would provide the income. When she wants to go someplace, I drive her. When we get to said location, I open the door for her. She wants for nothing. I take care of it all. Bills being paid, I pay for them. Grocery shopping, I will take her to go grocery shopping. I will carry the bags. Her entire needs are met by me. And I do it willingly. I'm married to her. Right? That's how I get the good loving, they say. I got to do all the stuff. When the wife says take out the garbage, take out the garbage. When she says mow the lawn, you mow the lawn. Clean the leaves out of the gutter. Got to do it. That's my job. You want to eat, right? Want to ever cook your food, right? Want to get, cakes made and pies baked, right? You want the closeness, the lovey love. Yeah, got to do all that stuff. Again, socialist lifestyle. That is. Now, what do these guys want to do? They want all the millionaires and the billionaires to pay for your lifestyle. But what do they get in return? Seriously. That's the one thing no one's been able to sell. What are you giving in return? I'm a millionaire. I'm a billionaire. I've got all the money. Hell, I'm a trillionaire. I got all the money. You want to tax me to the hilt. And you want me to pay my fair share? Say it to me, Josh. Pay your fair share. Okay. You got me. I'm going to give you 60% of my wealth. All of it. What do I get in return? Has anybody ever asked? Has anybody ever asked? That's what I want. When Luke Bronin gets in that chair right across from me, I'm going to ask him, you want millionaires and billionaires? What do they get in return? What, that you're not going to break stuff? That you're not going to burn it all down? Is that what we get? That's not an exchange, dude. That's extortion. That's what it is. Again, has anyone thought to ask it? People keep saying, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez the other day said, it's the workers who make all the riches. Funny, why does it not funnel to them? Oh, it's because the billionaires are taking it from them? How so? They're on the ground level. Why don't they just steal it from the till? Right? Why don't they just commandeer it? Just say, you know what? Yeah, I'm making all the money right here at the cash register. You know what? I'm not giving it to corporate. I'm just going to take it. Why don't they? Why don't they do it? They earned it, right? According to you, they have every right to access every dollar that comes into the store, no matter what it is. They're the ones who made it, right? They're the ones who walked you around and explained the product to you. See here, there's batteries not included. And if you put it this way, you can get a signal from that end, and it has this range. And you've done all the work. You didn't build the damn thing. You didn't build the product. You just dragged the sorry behind up to the cashier and said, would you like a receipt with that? Look at you, you change maker. But again, if these are the people who created the wealth, right? They didn't invent any of the computers that are sold there. None of the TVs that were made there. They didn't do anything. They just worked at the store that sold the product. Right? But they deserve all the wealth. And you believe that once the bigwigs have received all of that money, they should just give it up. I don't know. You never get a straight answer out of it, by the way. When you ask them, how much of $1 should they get? I'm a billionaire. How much of $1 should I give them? Of every dollar, how much? 50 cents? 40 cents? 70 cents? By the way, when you explain it that simply to a denunt, they don't even know how to answer. Try it. Try it on your kids. Try it on your socialist kids. Say to them, okay, I'm a billionaire, Timmy, and you want to tax the rich. For every dollar I make of my billion, what's the amount I should give for every dollar? 30 cents on every dollar? 40 cents? 70 cents? Now, some kids will be so bold, like our kid, who say 90 cents. But ask them. They won't know how to answer it. That's a real thing to them because they don't understand. They know exactly what that means and what they're asking for. I made $1 billion and I should give you the lump sum of it. That's how much you think you deserve because you work at a cash register or because you flipped a burger or warmed a fry. That's what these people believe. And you have to put it to them in the simplest of terms. And then ask them, if you made $100,000 a year or $250,000 a year, how much of your taxes should we take? How many cents of every dollar should you be forced to pay everyone else? I'm a billionaire. You're a quarter millionaire. How much should you pay? You make a lot of money. How much would you pay? They will not answer those questions. But again, back to my original question, what do we get in return? At least with the government, we get roads. Not the greatest, but we get them. Huh? We get some stuff, some services, right? You would probably say for the taxes you spend, you probably don't get enough. But again, what should you get in return? I'm going to pay for everybody. Their health care, their housing. Guys, let me throw this at you. Let me throw it at you. Hear me out. Ladies, don't get mad at your guy if he's answering this in front of you. But just for the sake of the experiment, think about it, okay? Just think about it. He's not doing it. Just think about it. So, fellas, you got a little skimmy skim on the side, you know? Her name is, I don't know, Bridget. And you know, you're paying Bridget's car note and her rent for the apartment, right? You're subsidizing her lifestyle. Why do guys do that, ladies and gentlemen? Come on, why do they do that? Why do girls have a sugar daddy, right? Subsidizing their entire life, gives them money to buy, the little shoes and, the nice dresses, right? So she can buy DoorDash and all that other stuff. She could go out and party with her friends. Yeah. Somebody's subsidizing that. But he gets something in return, doesn't he? There's a return on that investment, isn't there? But yet, when it comes to taxes, and Josh Elliott and all these folks, nothing. I never hear them saying, hey, with just, I don't know, $42 million, you get all this. You never get anything. They never even think about saying it. You should just pay your fair share. Well, guess what? I want to pay my fair share, but I want something in return. I figured if I pay for your housing, maybe I should get some lawn care. I don't know. I can't think right now. I'm spitballing. We should be able to get something, shouldn't we? I want something for my tax dollars. You want to keep taxing me? Somebody's got to produce something. Put on a show. There ain't enough community theater out here, I'll tell you that much. I figured if I'm paying your electric bill, I want to see Othello. Something. I want something for my hard-earned nickel. That's all I'm saying. It's got to be, it's quid pro quo, right? You're not doing anything. You can't get a job. You can't pay for anything. And if I'm paying for it, I want something in return. That's all I'm saying. Sorry, Josh, I may upset you and the rest of your cronies. But I know we're going to start getting people to talk about that. Mike from the Panics, what's up, buddy? We're fantastic, man. Missing you guys. We were just talking about you this weekend. We got a band called the Vetted out of Houston that we were trying to get you guys hooked up with. Roseanne wants you to meet up with those guys. The Vetted, look them up. They're a band out of Houston. Anyway, we'll take another break. We'll come back. More news, more views. I'll get your phone calls also on the other side when we return. Mark Christopher's back. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. He knows the whole deal. Like, he DJs, you dance. Right? Just a quid pro quo. Right, Mike?
That's
right,
right.
Mark? That's how it's done. You
Make
get
me look
something for
good.
nothing.
Make me look good.
Nothing worse than a DJ playing a record and nobody's dancing. Boy, do I hate that.
Especially when the songs usually work 99% of the time.
Yes, like
And
the
you got
cha-cha slide.
a brown-eyed girl, Van Morrison.
Oh.
I mean, just, and then there's nobody on the dance floor. You're like, it's going to be a long night.
Yeah, exactly. Is it me?
And you just switch to a different style of music.
Yep.
And nobody comes out, and you try a different one, and it's like, and you go, oh boy.
Yeah, this is going to be a slow night.
Long night. And then there's other nights you could throw anything on, and everybody's up there. So
this is usually added with alcohol. That always helps.
alcohol, if they're pouring them heavy, that definitely does help. And if the bride and groom are out there,
That's
too,
right.
they draw everybody out.
All right, Reese on the radio. We are back. If you want to call in, you can after this break at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Tomorrow on the program, we have Bristol Mayor Ellie. Is it Elliot or Ellie? Why would I?
Ellen Zappo Sasu.
Thank you. Ellen Zappo Sasu. Is it Sasu?
Yes.
That's how. Well, anyway, that's right. She's your mayor.
She's my mayor.
She's your mayor.
And I'm here tomorrow, so
you'll be here. So yeah, so she'll be on the show tomorrow, and we'll also have the Twig. He'll be on the program as well. They are going to be here to hash out what's been going on as far as the drug issue that's happening, like fentanyl use in alleyways and local businesses. So they are here to talk about that and hash it out. And we're going to call this the first Make Peace with Reese Summit.
I like it.
And, because there was some back and forth about politics on who's this side and that side. This is an opportunity to sort of bring that, get rid of all that nonsense and actually get to solving some problems. So apparently, I didn't know this. Bristol can be a little bit of a hard city in a lot of places, but I find that town really pretty.
Yes.
And I do almost everything there. I mean,
yeah, you do a lot in that city.
I do, right? I go to my
hometown.
church. Yeah. I go to the 10 Maine, the cafe there, and then I'm at Harvest, the bakery.
Oh, we got a new bakery that just opened too.
Which one?
It's Puerto Rican Bakery.
It's
over in that corner town. It's on Riverside Ave.
See, I got to be careful because the Puerto Rican bakeries are sweet.
Yeah, someone said the sugar donuts.
Yeah.
So
I can imagine.
Maybe
But
we'll have
yeah,
to get some of those for tomorrow's segment.
I love. Yeah, maybe. But so Bristol, is it Route 6?
That's it. Yeah.
Is that
Route 6 is like, if you live in Bristol, you try to avoid that road at all costs.
Really?
Because everything's on it.
Well,
It's just a traffic disaster.
I know, but that's why I love driving through it, because it's straight. It's straight into Bristol. You make a left, I'm at my church. But it's nice to go through because there's so much. The pawn shop that I love going to is right there. I love that pawn shop because they sell everything.
Yes. So right after that, there's if anyone lives in Bristol, it's still Blockbuster Plaza.
Yes.
Blockbuster hasn't been there for years.
Yes, it is. That's right.
God, we're aging ourselves.
But I know, but it's I love every part of that road. Mark Christopher's back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Speaking of traffic in Bristol.
Yeah, Route 6, they keep widening in it, and it's still a ton of traffic.
Indeed. We are back. Reese on the radio, about to get up out of here. But, of course, this is the moment where we usually take all of your phone calls before we go home. Again, tomorrow we have the Bristol mayor, Ellen Sasso, and Twig will be here on the program. I think Joe Hoax is coming in as well. I just got a text from Adam 12 saying that he wants to come here as well as we have this conversation about fentanyl and drug use in the area as we try to resolve all of this mayhem that's going on there. In fact, let me look at this real quick. Hoax says he might bring Peter Lamage. I don't know. Well, Lamage and I are actually supposed to be, I don't even know when that's supposed to be. Yes, Lamage, I have him. Maybe he is. Well, Peter Lamage is a great guest, so it doesn't matter. We'll have him here. We'll have him here if he's coming in. So, yeah, so we're going to have a whole bunch of people coming in apparently tomorrow. I'm just learning. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Let's go to Steve. What's going on, buddy?
Well, I'm going to recap things really quickly. Ringo Starr is going to be coming to Connecticut on October 4th.
Where's he coming? And I'm assuming... Where?
Wallingford. I forget what they call it now, but it's over in Wallingford.
He's going to go to Wallingford. Okay. All right. Hopefully,
right.
If he's going to be in town, we can get him here in the studio.
That'd be awesome. Also, it's Jessica Hahn's birthday. She was on the video with Sam Kinison for a while.
That's correct. She was she was famously tied to the Jim Baker scandal.
PTO, yep, that's correct.
That's correct. Jim and Tammy Faye Baker. Which, by the way, have you ever seen that docu-series or that movie that was made about them? That was really good.
I haven't, no. Yeah.
It's really good. It's really, really good. I enjoyed it thoroughly. But Jessica Hahn.
Few other things to talk about real quick. We have a $4.5 million budget for our tourism.
Yeah.
I'm wondering where Lamont decided to go on vacation.
Ooh. Tennessee.
Also,
Tennessee. He went to Tennessee.
That gentleman that you were talking to, Steve, before, you mentioned like people coming across the border. There's about 324,000 people that come over here with illegal parents, or not illegal, but with immigrants.
Yeah.
Some are illegal that are born. About 9% of all births are from people that have parents that don't live here.
That is correct. 100%.
Right. And on top of that, you were talking about make peace with Reese, and I just want to bring up for all those hardcore people on the right, I think it's great that you have politicians on both sides come in. I think that it's beneficial for all the listeners as well as for them, because they can get their point of view and not just be, like a one-sided thing where they can't respond. So I think you did a great interview with Richard Blumenthal. Not a big fan of his, obviously. Or
yeah. I mean, your hatred of him aside, no, I'm kidding. But I try to have him on. Like I said, I've got an agenda, and again, it is to get Dequan out of the water. Also, this deal with the immigration thing. Look, when is the last time anyone I can think of ever said to a senator, "I'm going to write you a bill that will solve"? Oh, goodness gracious, what did I just do? Steve, I'm sorry. There it is. I apologize. Okay. I was trying to put somebody on hold. When was the last time you ever said to a senator, "I'm going to write a bill and give it to you on immigration," and the guy says, "Yeah, bring it on over"? When's the last time it ever happened to you? I don't know anybody who's ever thought of that. But guess what? I'm going to write one. The fact that he said he's going to...
I hope he really takes it into consideration, too.
Listen to me. They're all trying to figure it out. And I know that they claim that they are. Now the rubber must meet the road. That's all.
Well, we've had things true like Reagan and other presidents and stuff like that did open the doors and have a pathway. Mm-hmm. And, I think there should be penalized, the ones that came here that, got ahead of other ones that want to get here legally. But, there are a lot of cases where it would benefit us as well as for them. But, got to be something where they really have to pay their way, to a
Indeed.
degree,
One,
whether
they
public or-
must be contributors. That's all I'm asking. They must be contributors. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you, sir.
You.
Next up, let's go to Peter in East Hartford. How you doing, Pete?
Good, Reese. Good. I'm doing much better than you were out in the sun over there in D.C. I gotta hand it to you.
Thank you, sir.
Wouldn't you rather that it be a day like today is here, 64 degrees and drizzle? I mean,
no.
What would you prefer?
I would prefer, no, I don't like the rain because I said it's dangerous on the roads in the rain and everything's wet and soggy, and I just don't like that feeling. The sun was okay. I was battling through it. You can't have it a lot. I would say overall, I did about a good 16 hours in the blistering sun in those 2 days, and it was a lot to endure. I'm not an outdoorsy person. I like the indoors and the air conditioning and the regular temperature. I can deal with a nice 72 degrees on a regular, but that was a lot to endure. And I had to stick it out because I was, one, there for everybody in Connecticut, but two, because it was quite the experience, and it was beautiful to be there.
Yes, it was. And can I just say something?
Sure.
Far as I've been involved in radio in the past, and I know that when you're doing a remote, the glitches that'll come up, and we did a remote years ago in the horse and buggy days. we did a remote from Broad Street in New Britain during their Polish festival.
Okay.
And it was phone line.
Oh.
It was Ma Bell.
Now, I'm not going to lie. There is nothing about that isn't intriguing, because I would have loved to have witnessed that. You had to go via phone line. So that you're talking about the old dial-up system.
Yes, sir. We had to dial a number, and we had a second remote from Falcon Field. There was a big Polish thing going on, and we just did not have a good connection.
Oh.
So it was so bad. I had my recorder on that it was horrible. And eventually we went directly back to the station, and Roberto or whoever was working WRYM would throw on some polka records. No. Save the Spanish stuff for the regular shows. Okay.
Thank you so much, Peter. Let me grab. I gotta grab some
Yep.
people up on here. But thank you, Peter. I appreciate you. Let's go to Rex, who's calling from Portland. Is that right? Hey, Rex, how are you? Rex, no.
Oh, no, it might be Rick. How are you?
Oh,
Great.
I'm
Good to
sorry,
hear-
Rick. I apologize. It showed up as Rex on this thing.
No. Listen. First of all, I just want to say thank you for dealing with the heat in the National Mall.
Oh, my
When
pleasure.
we were up here in Connecticut, man, it was insane. And so just thank you for being there for that. Regarding Dick Blumenthal and the interview you conducted with him today regarding the Pequot situation.
Oh, Pequot, yes.
I just want to say that was the most eye-opening interview I heard from his point of view, and it's all because of you. You brought out solidarity with the other side of the party, and for once in my 64 years, I'm hoping that there may be a way to bridge that divide between the left and the right in the state of Connecticut. So, again, thank you for that. My question is, and then I'll hang up.
Yes?
It sounds like you have a rational approach to bringing the left and right together. I don't think the left thinks that way. How can we bring the other side to at least being halfway to the middle? I'll hang up, and I'd love to hear your response.
Wow,
Thanks for what you do.
You got it, Rick. Absolutely. I think the best way to do this is, and the way I have done it, is make fun when I make fun. Try not to be mean-spirited unless, I always say that you got to swing first, in my view, right? If you swing first, then I got to swing back. But to always engage with respect. Always start as you mean to end. Come in and say, hey, I don't agree with you, but let me tell you why I don't and why I think you and I should have a conversation. I think that what I've always been able to do is to show by example. And that is, if you guys remember when I first got here, Rick, you in particular, if you've been following this show since I first started 4 years ago, I told you that I was dealing with leftist opposition in my own home. Roseanne was a devout leftist. She was a Black Lives Matter, Barack Obama loving leftist. And I married that woman. I married her. I was married to her before she became a conservative and left the party. But the way I got that woman to love me was I never disrespected her point of view. I just challenged it. And I challenged it respectfully. Okay, you believe this? Please explain this. Okay, here's why I believe this. Let me tell you why I do it. And I'll break it down. She saw the logic in it, and I wasn't lying to her. I wasn't trying to get a one-up on her and try to. No, I lay it out simply. Then I watch. I'll tell you. Wait until I introduce you to Reggae Don. He'll tell you he was literally watching me talk to his friend Mark two weekends ago. He saw me talking to his friend Mark, who is a devout power to the people black leftist. And he saw me communicating with that guy, and he watched me disarm him all the way to the point where the guy was laughing, joking with me, arm barring me. He was having such a great time. Why? Because I don't mean any ill will towards them. I only come there to not educate them, to understand them. And I make it about them, not about me. I can tell you everything in the world and tell you to listen to me. I don't want about that. I need to find out what they think and then break it down. Take everything they believe, chop it up. Okay, if you believe this, let me explain to you why that makes no sense. I'll do this before I get to the last. I may not get to the last two. I'm sorry, guys. Forgive me. I promise, both of you, Thomas and Craig, I promise I'll get to you tomorrow. I probably will. Let me just get this out off my chest real quick. I just said this I was thinking this about Reggae Don today. You have these people out here who talk about this, that, and the third, and they never lead by their own example. They say there are poor people out there, but yet they never feed the poor. They say there are people out there in the world struggling, but I never hear about them helping them. You only hear them complain about them. And the first thing you have to start telling people who are always whining about how bad the world is or how bad a particular group of people are. Once you start telling them, show us how good you are. Show us how moral you are. Lead by this example. Don't just virtue signal by telling us, do you know how bad it is out there? No. Tell us, show us. Go to the soup kitchens. I promote Friendly Hands Food Bank right here. You ever been there, Donald? Karen Thomas is a former homeless woman who now is the executive director of Friendly Hands Food Bank. She has turned that and many lives into success stories. You ever been down there? You ever donated to her? No. We do the Salvation Army here every year for the holiday store. I donated $100 to them a couple of Wednesdays ago. How much have you donated? How many things do you do for them for free? When's the last time you volunteered? World's such an awful place. What are you doing? You want to tell the rest of us how bad it is, but you don't lift a hand, you don't lift a finger to contribute to make it better. No one's ever been able to lay a glove on me on the good works that I do. And I don't run around bragging about it either. You'll see me on social media talking about this thing and that thing and the place that I'm going and the places that I've been and the people that I've helped. You'll hear them talk about it. But all I hear is you complain. The reason why I can bridge the gap is because I'm doing the work that many others don't do, and that's even those in the news media. They sell papers and news magazines and ratings. It's all about the divide. I become a powerhouse by bringing people into the room together. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here at 2 p.m. That's right, at 2 p.m. Be here. Make sure you're on time. No late stuff.
Reese is on the radio. Here we go now. He's on the radio. One time, he's on the radio. Give it to him now. He's on the radio. Joe, we never finish 'cause the party don't stop. The way we concern the politics, we on top. We flip it like sandals, except we never flop. And when we drop, you know we gon' pop. Reese is on the radio. Here we go now. Reese is on the radio. One time, come on. Reese is on the radio. Give it to him now. Reese is on the radio. Go.
All right, Reese on the radio, second half underway right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. When we return, we will talk to Steve Robinson of the Maine Wire. We'll get some insight from his point of view because he is right there in the belly of the beast as it refers to Graham Plattner's campaign. Is it sunk? How soon? What will happen? When will it happen? Why did the Democrats wait so long? We'll find out from Steve Robinson from the Maine Wire in just a little bit, so stand by for that. Let's get another check of your weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. I hate the rain, Mark. How bad is it? How bad is it affecting the weather? I mean, the traffic.
Weather, yeah, a lot of rain here. By the way, Steve Robinson is excellent.
Isn't he?
He's going to be a great guest.
Yeah, he's always
I
a
can't
great
wait
guest.
to hear what he has to say.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. I didn't know. I'm one of those people, Joey, that needs it to say Reese on the radio. It's like, go on air
my
now.
bad. I was saving the hour podcast from last hour.
That's okay. No problem.
I can't multitask.
It's okay. Probably you're doing a great job. On the line with us is none other than the intrepid journalist from all the way up in Maine, from the Maine Wire. Steve Robinson's on the line. How are you, sir?
Fantastic, as always, and getting better every day.
Hey, listen, you are never without content to report on in Maine. It's like something is in the water all of a sudden up there. If it isn't Mills, it's Plattner. It's like some crazy, insane individual doing that. It's like there's so much to cover in Maine. It used to be a sleepy state. Now everything's going on there. This Graham Black... yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think it's a progressive conspiracy to make me famous and get me booked on national shows is what I think.
Absolutely.
I'm grateful for all their antics. If we were just a normal state like Texas or Florida, I don't know how I would pass my time.
Yeah, indeed. Well, everyone loves you, man. As soon as I announced that you were going to be on the show, it was like, we love Steve. So it's great to have you. Even if it's in Connecticut, what's going on in Maine, you are the guy to go to find out, what's happening there. And, of course, the big story is Graham Plattner and where the Democrats are as it relates to his campaign. So let me start off with this, as I did in the opening monologue. And that was, it appears that the Democrats care about home invasions now, because that was the straw that broke the camel's back as it relates to Graham Plattner. He, forced himself into a woman's home and, according to her, sexually assaulted her there. Now that's a bridge too far. What happened?
Yeah. I mean, that's a great point. I mean, that was really the only new element that was added to the allegations.
Yeah.
Because the June 4th story from the New York Times already had, sexual violence against women.
Mm-hmm.
But their standard was that, apparently Republican women can't be raped or sexually assaulted, in their view, unless maybe they're leveling allegations against Republican candidates for
Correct.
office. I think the reality of it is that they only cared about the perception and the impact on the election, and the way they didn't care about what the underlying conduct was, whether it happened, what it said about their guy. They only cared about the potential impact on the election, and the way the New York Times handled that story was very deceptive. It was a catch and kill operation.
Indeed,
they had Jenny's allegation, the woman who came out yesterday. They had her full story just off the record. They told Lindsay Fifield that it was going to be part of the reporting, which is why she came forward. She didn't think she was going to be fronted and be the first person in the story. She didn't think she was going to be characterized as just some political smear artist.
Right.
So they did a very dishonest job with the story. Democrats said, well, you know what, we can take that. We can survive that. The New York Times did a solid here. But then you've got Jake Tapper flying into Bangor yesterday to interview yet another woman who seems very credible, has mountains of contemporaneous evidence to substantiate her connection to Plattner, her allegation. Then they decided, you know what, this is going to leave a mark. Now he's a wounded duck. He's not going to be the best person to take on Susan Collins. Now he's overboard. But again, zero of this has to do with their moral feelings about rape or sexual violence towards women. All of it is just pure politics.
Yeah, it is. And again, this is the part that I can't seem to understand about this is like the smallest slight is supposed to draw you or in essence remove you from polite or from the public sphere. Now think about this. At the same time that we watch a picture or see a picture from a Reuters photographer of a black woman on the train surrounded by white nationalists is supposed to incite us that a white man from Maine who said black people don't tip is a nothing burger. That's, because like I said, any slight against African Americans is supposed to be like the second coming of Jim Crow. But Graham Plattner saying something about off-color about black folks, figuratively and literally, all of a sudden it was like, nope, not enough. Then it's the locking a woman inside of a bedroom until she cries herself to sleep. Nope, not enough. Oh, everybody's a fascist and a Nazi. Guy has an actual Nazi tattoo. Nope, not enough. Breaking and entering sexual assault. Let's bump the brakes on it now. To which I say,
it wasn't even the offense. It's all about power. And one of the most disturbing things, if you read into the Politico interview, I don't want to engage in victim blaming here, but Jenny, the woman who is on camera telling Jake Tapper that Plattner broke into her house in a drunken blackout and violently raped her, says she debated whether she should come forward because she liked his politics.
Yes! I was going to get to that.
Like, that is a form of mental illness that I cannot comprehend.
No.
That you would just sit on those allegations, that you would just keep quiet about that, watch this man potentially become, rich, powerful, run for president someday, and never tell that story?
Joy,
it is a stunning thought pattern.
Steve, go look up Joy Behar and what she said about the same case, about the same thing. Joy Behar said that if you're a Democrat, I will vote for you even if you sexually assault someone. Joy Behar, he even said that from The View.
I mean, Trump has just broken these people's brains.
I know.
That's the only thing you can conclude. I mean, there's but Graham Plattner says Brett Kavanaugh should be impeached over sexual assault allegations that have no substantiating evidence whatsoever.
Exactly.
They don't even have a shred of evidence that puts the Kavanaugh accuser in the same zip code, okay? No evidence that they were ever at the same party. They just have this story this mentally ill woman made up. And Plattner says impeach Kavanaugh over that. But with these allegations that, how can he deny them when he's admitted to struggling with alcoholism, has admitted to being a blackout drinker, disclosed it on, Reddit posts, has disclosed it, it's part of his story. How can he credibly deny that the rape occurred when he's a blackout drinker and was struggling with alcoholism at that time?
Yeah.
It's insane that he's all we're asking for as conservatives or the public or the average Maine voter is for the progressives to live up to the lofty standards that they want every other conservative in public life to live up to, and they can't seem to do that. They want the two sets of rules. They want the sets of rules for the commies and the people that they can blackmail into voting their way, and another set of rules for people like Susan Collins, who actually has a little bit of an independent streak in her.
Indeed, right. It couldn't be more wishy-washy on her conservative leaning. She is about as moderate as a Democrat could want. She makes, I would say Susan Collins makes, who is the senator from West Virginia? Why am I forgetting his name all of a sudden? Who just left office not too long ago?
I know. Oh, God.
Joe Manchin?
I would have known it. Yeah, Manchin. There we go.
Yeah, Joe Manchin.
It was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah,
Joe
exactly.
Manchin,
She makes him look like a conservative, as far as like being this sort of wishy-washy Republican. Speaking of which, and by the way, that point that you made, this is what I always say to Democrats. They always set the table. My response to them is, when you set the table, just remember you have to eat from it too, right? When you set the standard, you have to live it. So don't sit up here and tell us what we're supposed to do, and then you go in the other direction when it starts meeting you at the ballot box. If you say that we've got to denounce our candidates when they've done something foul, you're going to have to do the same. You don't get any excuses at all. So I want to bring this up because this is important. I wanted to get your opinion on it. Democrats are starting to use the term big tent with their party. Because they are deathly afraid of losing their base, who is becoming more and more progressive, dare I say, communist. What is your opinion, Steve, on let's just say the future of the Democrat Party, or the near future of the Democrat Party, be November 2026 or 2028, if they don't stem this growing insurgence of communism, Marxism, and leftism?
Well, I mean, there's the biological reality that they're sterilizing and aborting themselves out of existence. I mean, so long term, you can't have more Democrats if you're all, have taken the transgender hormones and can't reproduce. But I think that they have a big problem with men. I think that they've alienated males generally, but especially white males, with a 10-year period of structural systemic racism against white males. Why would they continue to vote for a system that systematically, punishes them, takes opportunities away from them, and destroys the meritocracy that America was built on? That's not something that they can take back by having, Graham Plattner with a gravelly voice driving his boat in a campaign ad. James Tallarico is not the portrait of masculinity down in Texas who's going to turn it around for them. They don't even know what real masculinity is, so they're not going to be able to capture it with a New York ad agency. They're going to have to return to actually liking America and liking meritocracy, and that means basically not being Democrats anymore. They're going to have to fundamentally change if they want to survive. Otherwise, this DSA, socialist communist insurgency is going to rip the party apart. But the problem is, it doesn't matter if you have a system where the next president can open up the borders like Biden did and import 20 million, new Americans, and then have a Congress giving them the right to vote eventually. So maybe that's the long-term strategy for them. But here in Maine, the DSA is definitely in the middle of a civil war with the establishment Democrats over who's going to replace Plattner. If he does drop out, right now he's like an ISIS bride with a suicide bomb strapped to his back. He says he's saying, he is demanding as a condition of his surrender that he gets to pick his successor, which that's not how it works.
Oh my goodness!
Once he signs his name on the termination papers, he's out. He's gone. The state committee gets to decide. By a vote, who's going to replace him. It's kind of the process is a little bit unclear. It's not perfectly articulated in their charter.
Right.
So they could give him, they could promise him, oh, yeah, sure, Graham. Yep, yeah, sure. We'll go with whoever you want.
Exactly.
And then just go
You're
in
such a
completely
great
different
judge.
direction.
You're such a great judge of character there, Graham. We'll be happy to give you the person who will succeed you. You know, you were just talking.
What a perfect end! What a perfect ending, though, to Graham Plattner's political career, trying to force his way into the Democratic Party, trying to thrust himself into places where he's unwanted.
They love irony, don't they? You were talking about Tellerico. Please, I'm laughing here as soon as you mentioned Tellerico. Someone said to me off the mic not too long ago that James Tellerico makes Pete Buttigieg look butch. I was like, damn.
Well, speaking of that, one of the big surprises at the Maine Wire, in our internal chats yesterday was, we knew last week that there was going to be some accuser coming forward. When we found out it was a woman, we were like, wow, that's interesting. You read some of these Reddit threads when this guy's knocked back a 12-pack.
Yeah.
The homoerotic streak really comes out.
Oh, it's so evident.
The guy's comments to the New York Times are like, no, none of the sexual violence stuff is true, but yes, it is true that I would sharpen my hatchet and fantasize about raping a burglar, but not in a gay way. What? Mr. Platt.
I can't say anything else. That's why he is covering the news, and he is the best at it. Steve Robinson, the Maine Wire. Thank you, sir, for your time. I appreciate you.
Hey, thanks, Reese.
You got it. Oh, he just talk about capturing everything. Oh, poor Plattner. That's just, again, it wasn't like we didn't warn you, folks. It wasn't like we didn't warn you. And you get stuck with this. And that's on you. Wow, you we are your parents. I realize it. I'm dad. Trying to explain to you, kid, no, listen, don't go to that party on the wrong side of town. No, don't. And then you sneak over anyway. And the next thing you know, I get a phone call from the hospital. What happened? What? Shot what? It happens every time. Let's take a break.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio coming up with a Mark Walsh report. He was actually down in Torrington with Senator Blumenthal as well as Johanna Hayes and Governor Lamont. Will play some audio from him, and we will talk to him right after. But before we do that, let's do our thing.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Stupidest thing I read today. The Darwin Award, folks, goes to none other than Darren, a married man at 33 years old in England. Darren is an aspiring fashion safety tester, and he decided that he was going to create the brand new stab-proof jacket. He was definitely serious about it. It was going to be the real deal. So, after he invented the stab-proof jacket, he did what only any inventor would do. He would check to see if the stab-proof jacket would work. But he did the dumbest thing in the world, folks, and it's not stab himself. The dumbest thing he did was do it while his wife was out of town.
If you're gonna try it, at least have her stab him.
That's right. Darren by himself, the 33-year-old wizard.
An inventor in air quotes.
Yes, inventor in air quotes. Stabbed himself of all places, Joey. In the heart.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
To which he bled out while his wife was out of town. That's correct.
It's not good marketing.
No, not at all. So, you know, he wasn't a successful inventor.
Fortunately, revision 1 failed. I don't know if there'll be a revision 2.
No, unfortunately, there will not. Hopefully, no one tries this again. Please do not try this at home.
Do not try this at home.
Do not.
Even trained professionals
exactly.
did not work out well.
Clearly, it did not. That is your stupidest thing I read today. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is here. He is in a BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. I never test anything that I invent, even food, for that matter, Mark.
Really? You give it to other people? And
No,
see the look on their faces? Like,
Listen, if I screw it up, I'd rather they taste the mess than before I do.
And you see the sour look on their face, you go, ooh.
Never doing that again.
Yeah, that's one and done there. I'm not trying this stuff, but I don't, you know what? Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
I left a couple of ingredients out.
Reese on the radio, WTIC News Talk 1080. I just got the greatest moniker or the greatest line I can use.
It's on a T-shirt.
It probably could be on a T-shirt, and I'm going to make it on. I'm going to put it on a T-shirt, and I'm going to send it to Democrats here in Hartford. I can't say where I got the idea from, but I'll put it this way: it was from someone we know. Their mother came up with this. I'll tell you off the air, but it is a great line. She says, and I quote, "When Democrats come on the show with Reese on the radio, they should call it Make Peace with Reese."
I like it.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I just sent the text back and go, tell your mom I'm using this. I'm using this. This is it. Adam, you got your marching orders. That's it. Hey, come on the show, like Make Peace with Reese.
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty of people you can. Scott Extra Large from the NAACP. Hey, come make peace with Reese.
Need
You
an
can.
open now.
Huh?
Now we need an open produced.
Yeah, we got to get it open. Yeah, exactly. Come make peace with Reese. Speaking of making peace, one of my good friends is on the line, Mark from West Hartford. I like to call his segments Mark Walsh Reports. It makes him sound so legitimate. How you doing, buddy?
I don't know about that. Oh, I'm doing good. I had a great day today. I started a couple fires in a firehouse today, which is, I don't know if that's the theme now, but this is where they show up. Last week it was Hartford. They showed up over there, and today was Torrington. So this is how I led to Ned Lamont. It was beautiful. He had to wait for Johanna Hayes to show up because what it was they were going to tour the damage and all that. So it was Johanna, it was Senator Blumenthal, and Ned Lamont. Ned Lamont was there first.
Right.
So I hear him say, well, let's just wait for everybody. So now I go like, perfect. So I walk right up to him, and I basically start out like this. I go, hey, I said, how much influence is the upcoming election having on you being here today?
Well, hold on, Mark. Wait, Mark.
Go ahead.
I think it's only right that we play the actual audio. I got you set up. You're ready to go.
All right.
Here's Mark
Let's do
asking the governor how much of this storm was an influence because of what happened last time.
Can I ask you a question? My name's Mark Walsh. I'm a retired Hartford firefighter.
Hey, nice to see you, Mark.
I'm feeling it. How much influence did the upcoming election have on you being here for this storm as opposed to the storm 2 years ago? We had a deadly storm. But you flew in for a half an hour, and then you headed to Chicago. Then you headed to Chicago with every other elected Democrat. Well, no, there was a deadly storm back then.
We're here to talk about our current events right now.
I'm here to talk about his past. He's running for re-election. So every elected Democrat, including Johanna Hayes, was out there in Chicago.
That's fine. You can leave.
I was here. You were here for how long were you here?
Been very responsive to
You were in your summer home in Maine. You took a detour down to Oxford, and then you headed out to Chicago with all the other elected Democrats.
Look.
So you have no answer for your.
Sir, this ain't
Wait, I'm talking to the governor. Can you answer his questions?
This is not the time.
Can you answer his
This is
questions?
not the time for this. Is all I'm telling you.
It's always the time to ask him questions
We're
and hold
here.
him accountable. It's always the
We're
time.
here to discuss the current emergency situation that is affecting our community.
So
We're not
his
here to
past
discuss
practice, his past actions.
The governor
You're a
has been-
firefighter?
The governor has
Are
been.
you a firefighter?
The governor has been very responsive.
You know what
to our
mitigation
issues.
is? If you screw up, don't you know how to mitigate something?
It was absolutely brilliant what you did. They're asking the question about whether or not he stuck around. He says, I was here. But we checked the record, Mark, as did you. Lamont,
I got the flight record. I was the only one that got the flight number. I actually have it from Maine down to Oxford, then out to Chicago.
Yeah,
That's
please
how much
tell
I
everybody.
ran in depth
Tell
back
everybody. Lamont says I was here. How long was Lamont here?
Well, there you go, playing with game. But you see, this is what they do. He gets to say something like that.
That's right.
And yeah. So anyway, that was good enough for me. I didn't have to do any more. The one disappointing thing was, and I'll tell you this: as I was in the Hartford station last week, not one firefighter gave cover to Senator Blumenthal. Here, I had like 4 firefighters giving cover to a guy. I'm trying to point out, like, and they all know what mitigation is. If you're not going to address all the mistakes from 2 years ago, figure out what happened, hold them accountable for not even being here. Never mind mitigating. He wasn't here to mitigate, and they're defending him. So you guys in Torrington, and my buddy was the chief out there. He's not there anymore. I'm going to give him a call tonight, and I'm going to see who these people were, and if this is probably the reason why he left. Because I told him, and I used my classic line. I said, "You're not firefighters. You work for the fire department."
That's right. There's a
you
difference.
You don't back me up on that. So now the next one is, who's here? Johanna Hayes.
Yep.
Perfect, right?
Yep.
So the real Johanna Hayes, not the manager from Portobello Restaurant. So I go up to her, and I said, "Hey, do you have any regrets for not staying around 2 years ago? I'm glad you're here for this, but do you have any regrets for?" And then it started with, the mayor was supposed to be. Oh, you got the tape.
Of course, I have the audio. Mark, I came prepared, dude.
I'm sorry. I'm going verbatim here. Go ahead.
Do you have any regrets not staying behind for the storm 2 years ago that happened in Oxford? You were at the team. No.
Right now.
But I want to talk about your past. It's about
just
mitigation.
Like the mayor's not here right now. She was on.
No, but I'm asking you. You were in Chicago that whole time, and there was a deadly storm. This is nowhere near.
So she didn't have much to say either. I'm here now. Talking over you instead of giving you the respect to answer your citizen journalism questions. That's their problem. They don't think that they owe you a direct answer. If it had been Susan Raff, they would have been patient and calm. But you having the audacity as a citizen journalism, you're just, you're like chopped liver.
Well, you remember when you used that line when they kind of called some of your supervisors, I'll put it that way, and you say, "Oh, you're going to call my mom." Well, the next segued into, because she brought up like a district, like basically she was saying that storm damage 2 years ago was in her district. So I said, you know what? Well, now's a great time to talk about Mimi Torres, because guess what? New Britain is in her district.
That's right.
And she totally didn't even want it. I said the word Mimi Torres, she started heading to the truck.
Yeah, they don't want any
parts
of that.
The only thing she was concerned about, now it hit her. She saw the garb I had on. She goes, "You're a Hartford firefighter?" Now, she didn't hear me say I'm retired inside. So I go, "Yeah, from Hartford." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, yeah." I said, "It's Mark Walsh." I said, "You could call the chief." I'm giving her every black chief that ever came across Hartford. So go ahead. Call this one. Call Barco. Call Teal. Call them up.
And that's the objective. The objective is to find out who you work for.
Well, I'm going to find out if she tried to weaponize the government. Because let's say I was still working. What was she going to do with that information?
Exactly.
What did she care so much why I was a Hartford firefighter? She didn't want to answer the question about Mimi. I asked what action she took since the death, DCF, anything, and she ignored all of it. Because you know why, people? And this is disgusting to me. She doesn't talk about DCF. She doesn't talk about Mimi herself.
Yep.
What a tragedy.
Yeah.
You should have been at a podium. You should have saved Darren Stewart when she looked like a deer in the headlights. Johanna wasn't there at that press conference.
Sure wasn't.
But nobody remembers that.
Yeah.
So I hope our friend Jonathan DeBarros reminds everybody when that time comes.
Let me get that timeline out here real quick. Governor Ned Lamont was on vacation, as Mark pointed out in the video. He says Governor Ned Lamont was on vacation when the storm struck Connecticut that Sunday. The next day, on August 19th, he interrupted his vacation to travel to Oxford. the hardest hit town. He met with local, state, and federal officials, assessed the damage on the ground, held a news conference at Oxford Town Hall. During that appearance, he declared a state of emergency to accelerate requests for federal disaster assistance. Lamont noted the storm's intensity and pointed out that the flooding occurred on the 69th anniversary of the devastating 1955 floods in the same region. Following his activities in Oxford on August 19th, the same day, Lamont traveled to Chicago for the Democratic National Convention, which ran from the 19th to the 22nd. He could have gone any other day. He could have gone on the 24th, the 21st, or even the 20th. But he was in Oxford. He got off vacation, went to Oxford, and then left to go to Chicago. So the whole thing of I was here, well, he made an appearance. He stopped and left.
And he knows, and everybody knows. See, they're going to say that FEMA. In fact, Senator Blumenthal said it to me because I questioned him at the press conference in West Hartford last week. And he said, well, we informed FEMA. Well, anybody knows, like to have a local elected official be the facilitator, be on hand. Maybe you won't have a question from FEMA, but you are there. You're the elected official representing a territory, a town, or in this case, the state. He should have stayed. He should have stayed behind, or at the very least, Lieutenant Governor Susan Bicewicz. Nobody stayed behind Reese.
And using using their power and their leverage to get things done with the federal government. Because as the governor, talking to the federal government, making sure that FEMA was on the ground while he was there to make sure that people were secure and were made whole, he should have been there for it. He should have never left town. I mean, especially to leave his vacation, come into town, and then leave the same day he arrived. He didn't even give it 24 hours.
I heard he was only there for less than an hour.
I believe it.
I'll leave it with this. God blesses us in many ways. So for those people who live in Torrington, the other hardest hit areas, thank God the Democratic National Convention isn't going on this week.
It's a good point. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, brother.
You got it, man. Yeah, saying that he was here, but this is classic, Ned Lamont. It just is. And I didn't want to put Blumenthal in the crosshairs of this because I don't think it's right. He can't answer for it. But can I just play this video clip? I have to play it. This is Ned Lamont asked about Graham Plattner and the fact that he had to be bailed out by Richard Blumenthal. I don't even know what to say. It just looked awkward. You're asked the question, should Graham Plattner resign? And then you'll get a follow-up question as to why. I want to play it first, and then I'll explain to you why he had no answer.
Where it says, step aside. I do.
I'd be happy to comment on that, too. These sexual assault allegations are serious, credible, and disqualifying. They are unacceptable. And as the Maine Democratic Party has said, he should withdraw immediately. The sooner...
Now, hear me out, folks. I just want to paint a picture. Your team tells you, if anybody asks you about Graham Plattner, just say he should resign. They're going to ask you whether or not he should resign. Just say yes. And then they ask you a follow-up. Why? Now, why do they ask the follow-up question? Because they want you to detail what you found offensive enough for Graham Plattner to resign. You have to know the story. It's everywhere. It's the biggest story around. And then they go, why should he resign? And Lamont stares off and doesn't have an answer. He's got to think about it. Everybody knows why Graham Plattner's being told to resign, except Ned Lamont. And so Senator Blumenthal steps in and says, I'll answer that. But did you listen to Blumenthal's answer? Hear me out. Senator, if you want to call me back and tell me that it was no such thing, I'll believe you. No, I won't.
Where it says, step aside. I do.
I'd be happy comment on that too. These
Now, Blumenthal steps in. Here are the first words out of Blumenthal's mouth. Listen, this is important. Communication, I know it well.
These sexual assault allegations are serious, credible, and disqualifying.
He's telling Lamont what they are talking about by describing what happened. Do you think Graham Plattner should resign? Then Blumenthal tells what the thing is. He editorializes because Lamont doesn't know. Why? Lamont had to think about it. Why?
They are unacceptable.
Where it says you step aside. I do.
I'd be happy to comment on that.
Again, what's he in the dark about? Come on, folks. Somebody's got to tell me otherwise. But somebody's got to describe it to him after. Come on. Come on. Somebody wasn't there. Lights were on. Nobody was home.